Good evening, and welcome to Sweet Blessings, the Anna L. Brothers Show and Podcast, where we come to you every Wednesday to inspire, to encourage, and to empower you to live a healthier lifestyle. So, good evening. I am Anna. I am a retired school teacher. I'm also an author, an entrepreneur, an educational consultant. Um, I am a health consultant. I am a jewelry consultant. I'm the proud owner of the Jazzy Jewels Collection. And I'm also a cake certified cake instructor. Do it all, okay? So, with that being said, the purpose of this podcast is to look at the well being of the whole individual and not just the adult, but children as well. And so we want to look in the areas because most of the time when people think about um, healthy lifestyles, they think about eating. But it's not just all about your eating, that is just a part of it. So this podcast wants to look at things spiritually, physically, mentally, financially, socially, okay? And we cover various topics. Some of those topics is just to bring you knowledge and to make you aware of things. And then other topics I bring people in to speak on various topics because they're a little bit more knowledgeable than I am. But before we get started, I have a little housekeeping that I would like to do. Um, because once I get on a roll, I'm on a roll, and then I forget to do those type of things that I'm supposed to be conveying. So the first thing that I want to let you know is that you can support me by sending stars. Stars help me earn money to make more content. And really and truly, you all, that is the way Facebook pays you is through the stars that you get. So think about that when you want sending stars. Think about me, and also you can help me there, but you can also help me here as well on the CTR Media Network because I am a part of the CTR Media Network. You can also go there and you can support me by sending stars there as well. So just wanted to kind of share that with you. Also, this here, I wanted to let you know that this here is my website. This is my website. It is a bit, and you can go there and you can go there to if you want to advertise, if you want to be a sponsor or a commercial or a guest slot on the Sweet Blessing Show. So you can contact me at lastine1 at gmail.com or the CTI Media Network .com as well. So this is my bit, and this is my let me remove this. And the bottom is my website. So either one of those, you can reach out to me if you want, if you're interested in that. I do go live. I want you to know that I do go live 3 days a week with my jewelry business, and I do that on Tuesdays, Thursday, and Friday. Tuesday morning at 10. Thursday evening from 7 p.m. and I'm on Facebook and Instagram, as well as on Friday. I do set it out Friday. So if you want to join me on any of those occasions, feel free uh, to uh, to do that. This is my Facebook uh, profile because that's where I go live on it, and also this is my Instagram. So you have both of them down there. But before I break, because we are going to break for a commercial, I just do want to remind you um, that I would love, 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 love for everyone to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Um, YouTube is something that I have not invested in, and it's a platform that I think that I do need to be showcased there. So I am asking everyone to go and subscribe to my channel, if you would. Please, 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 please. All right. So now what we're going to do is that we are going to break for a commercial. And then when I come back, I want to talk to you because it is spring, you all. And I don't know about you, but I know I am an avid uh, garden person. And I'm going to tell you, I did not start being advanced. I started when I was teaching, and it has been an ongoing learning process. So this evening, since it is the beginning, and a lot of people start their gardens in the South, they started a little bit earlier. Up here, people start their gardens, but they might start their gardens, in their basement or something. They start their seedings, okay? And so, which I have not done that yet, but I am going to do that this weekend. I am going to get out on my back porch because I have an enclosed back porch, and I'm going to get out there and set all my little. Well, in fact, I've already started setting stuff up so I can start planting. Because what really bothers me, and before I break the commercial, is that sometimes I go to other people's house and I see their gardens, and their garden is just all the way up. This is in April, y'all. April, May. Well, May. I'm gonna say May. Or my community has a garden walk. And I'm telling you, some of those gardens are just fabulous. And I just saying to myself in my mind, how did they get those gardens to be like that? You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it has been, and most of these things that it talks about in my notes and in my presentation, I have done those things. Like I said, it has been a learning process for me, but I love it. It is one of the most relaxing things if you can get into it, and it's very peaceful. You're able to think and just do all things, and it's really good for your well-being. Okay, so I just love it, and when the things grow, you're just so elated and so happy. I take pictures of mine and everything, y'all. So this is my season. Everybody knows it's my season. So we're gonna break right now for a commercial, and then we will be right back, and I'm going to get into the presentation.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
All right, we are back. I'm going to pull up my presentation for you. And if you would like, you can comment, make comments, and all kinds of things if you want. There is a place where you can make comments. It just depends on where you are watching, whether you're watching it on Facebook or YouTube or Spotify, because most all of them have it. But there is a place where you can make comments if you want to make comments, and I can showcase them on this. But today, well, this evening, we're going to talk about the Green Thumb Guide, essential tips for successful gardening. And if you ask anyone that gardens, it is not an overnight thing. And it's a learning process. You learn as you go. Okay. And so what I have learned, I've made many, 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 many mistakes, y'all. I just want to let you know. But I've learned from those mistakes. You know what I'm saying? I have learned from those mistakes. Well, Dr. Tina Ramsey is giving us some hearts today. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. But like I said, I have learned from those mistakes. And, you know, even though I'm giving you these tips, I want you to know that the garden tips can vary. It just depends on the specific plant you're growing and your local climate. But I am going to give you some tips. So we're going to get started with that. Just hold on just one moment. And here we go. So the first thing when you're gardening, and see, I didn't know this, y'all. And I'm going to tell you my downfalls as I go. Okay. As I go through this, I'm gonna tell you my little downfalls that I've had, or the things that I have done and that I've learned from. Know your soil. Test your soil to know if it's pH level and nutrients content. I never did that, and I don't really think I do that too much, but I am going to look into that a little bit more now. And then what it says is you got to amend it, or I guess you're supposed to help it, or give it what it needs to provide the growing conditions for your plant. Okay. So that is one of mine that I have not done, and I will check when I go to the garden center or the nursery. What do you use to test your soil? That's important to me because I don't even know what you would use to test the pH level. I just buy soil based upon what it says on the package. So, like I said, when I do these things, I learn things learn too. So I didn't know that I needed to test my soil, but from now on, I will. And the next time I go to the nursery or the Home Depot or Lowe's, it's someone in there is an expert. I can ask them, and I'm sure with all those products there that they have something that will let you know the condition of your soil. So then the next thing is you want to plan your garden layout. I laugh because you want to consider factors such as sunlight exposure, spacing between the plants, and potential growth patterns when planning to plant each type of vegetable, flower, or herb. Now, I'm going to tell you at the very beginning, I did not do any planning. I just thought in my mind, I'm going to put tomatoes over here. I'm going to put peppers over here. There was no planning whatsoever in garden. Remember, I told you it was all like trial and error for me. Okay. So I would just plant. And I still have some of those tendencies, but I've gotten better. Okay. I have not gotten good with the spacing between the plants. And even though it says it on the package, when I place them, it just seems like that's not enough, and I overplant there, and so it overgrows. Even though I can pull it out and replant it someplace else, I'm just saying. Uh, now, now let me tell you, 1 year I have not planted this since, but 1 year I planted yellow squash, y'all. I didn't realize that it was a vine plant, and it just took over the garden. I mean, it took over everything, my tomatoes, everything. The dad was just going, every kind of way. But I had some squash. But I just, like I said, that's learning thing. But I have not done that since then. But I have planted cucumbers. And my mother is the one that told me cucumbers, beans, and stuff like that you can plant on the fence. And when you plant them, because they're vine-like, and they will grow on the fence, if you got one of those fences that have holes, holes in it. So basically what you want to do is you want to start with a healthy plant. You want to choose healthy seedlings or young plants from reputable nurseries or garden centers, and avoid plants with signs of disease or pest damage. Now, I will tell you that most of the time I buy my flowers from the nursery. When I first started gardening, I tried it, but it didn't work out with the seating down in my laundry room. I had a little place there, and it just didn't work. Okay. So I kind of gave up. Like I say, I've done a lot of these things. So most of the time, I have grown, or I have gotten my plants from a nursery or a garden center. But you have to be careful with those as well. You want to have they said, a reputable nursery or garden center when you get your. But this year I am gung ho. I am going to plant seedings. I'm going to do it on my back porch because it is enclosed, and I can heat it up and everything there as well. Oh, it's Erica. Erica says that, oh, you do it by well, or a grow bag. I'm gonna have to try a grow bag. I'll have to try a grow bag. I will. I'll have to try that. But thanks for that tip. Erica always gives me nice tips. I must say that myself, because I had problems with the rabbits eating up my greens, and so she told me to use plastic forks and stick them up around, and I have not had any problem with my greens since then, y'all. So I'm passing that tip on. I'm passing that tip on to you all that she has given me, because she is also an avid gardener. And what I love about her is that she has a little girl, and she has a little girl and in the garden, and she picks greens, and also she has so much personality, you all. And so I encourage. She's giving me another comment. She says I picked them young too, and they will produce more. Oh yes, the forks. You remember when you told me about the forks? Yeah. Oh, you're welcome anytime. Um, but yes, it's always good to share, because you know what? Y'all, we learn from each other. You all might not think that, but we basically do. We learn from each other. And it's good to share your knowledge. Knowledge is powerful, okay? Knowledge is powerful. But right now, we are going to go and break for another commercial. And then we will be right back to continue with the gardening tips.
Does this resonate with you? Has a company ripped you off in the past? SettleShark is changing how consumers get money back from companies. SettleShark assists consumers during the entire process, from beginning to end. Our process is simple, convenient, affordable, and powerful. You're in control. We are here to help you. Contact us today at www.settleshark.com or call 1-888-704-0708.
Okay, I am back, and we're going to move on. Now, the next thing that you must do is that you want to water properly. So you want to provide consistent and appropriate watering for your plants. Now, you got to be mindful not to overwater or underwater, as both are harmful for your plants. And that's hard to do. But it's a little thing in here. It's going to tell you, as we go along, it's going to tell you what you need to do. But I have done that still. And I still have flowers that die. Okay. And you're probably going to still have that as well. So, and I sometimes I try to bring my flowers in and save them through the winter, and then take them back out. But you have to be very careful with the water. Even though they need water, you got to be extremely careful in giving it water. And then the next thing is you want to mulch it. Now, I really was not a mulcher, okay? But last year I mulched. And it says use organic mulch, such as straw, wood chips, or shredded leaves to help retain moisture, suppress weeds, and regulate soil temperature. Now, I mulched last year. So I mulched all of the front of my house. I mulched all of my garden beds. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to see if that was beneficial for me. Because, like I said, each year I try to do something different. So I'm just passing this on now. The next thing, pruning and deadheading, I am not good at that. I'm trying to get better at that. So regular prune plants to remove dead or diseased branches and encourage healthy growth. So after your plant grows a certain amount, you're supposed to pinch. But where do you pinch? That's my question. I'm leery of that. Where you pinch? You're supposed to pinch a little bit out, and then it is supposed to uh, uh, grow faster and fuller. Okay. So I have problems with that. And I don't know, have y'all heard of the Arrow Garden? I love it. Love it. I do all kind of gardening, y'all. So let me tell you about the Arrow Garden. The Arrow Garden is a apparatus that grows flowers, herbs, and vegetables. And it's about this big. I have one. It's about this big, and then it has an ultraviolet light on it, and you can grow your plants in that. And you grow them in water, and you have these. It's got 6 little holes in it, and you put your sprout down in it, and it roots, and you have flowers. I love the one with the herbs and the lettuce and stuff like that, because then you don't have to buy lettuce. You can just pull it off of there, wash it, and there's no pesticides, anything, because it's in your house. Okay. So I will tell you, it's a good investment. You can look into Arrow Gardens. It's by, I think it's come Miracle Grow is the one that puts that out, and it's just an excellent thing for you to have, and they have all sizes. Okay. I happened to get the first one as a gift. Okay. I'm telling you, I liked it so much that when that one went out, I bought another one. Okay. So it's good for having fresh vegetables and things in your home during the wintertime, if you are in a season where you cannot grow your vegetables outside. So fertilize appropriately. Now, this one you can get into trouble with. Use fertilizer tailored to the specific needs of your plant. So you want to follow recommended application rates and schedules to avoid over fertilizing, which can harm plants and pollute the waterways. Now, it can kill your plant, and this is another one that's kind of ticky. You know, when do you know that you have over fertilized? I know, there's they got instructions on the fertilizer, but still. And let me tell you what I use for fertilizer. Fertilizer is like a plant food because you have to feed them. I use several, y'all. But like I said, over the years, people, research and all that stuff, and people making suggestions. So I went to a presentation at my library. It was called Container Gardening, and it was showing you how you could make gardens out of just simple containers that you have. And the lady that gave the presentation there, she talked about 2 fertilizers. Well, when the presentation was over, I searched and got those fertilizers. One of them is called Blood Meal. Blood Meal, MEAL, like cornmeal, but this one is Blood Meal. And all you need is a teaspoon, and you put that in your. I put it in where I dig the hole. That's where I put it. But you could some people, if it's big enough, they might get it, but it's expensive. Okay, but it works because I had everything last year. I'm gonna be honest with you. All of my stuff grew last year, so I used that. And another one that she suggested was fish fertilizer. And so I have both of those, the fish fertilizer and the both of them stink. So I don't use any of them in the house. Okay, in the house for my plants, I use those little spikes and I just put those in there because they're time released. And so you hear me talk a little bit more about the time released capsules as well. I think we have another comment here. Let me see. Okay, let me. Erica says, I picked them. Okay, let's go back. She says, thank you. And then she made, when are you going to plant? Okay, I am going to plant. I'm going to start I'm going to plant, actually put the plants in the ground in May, like you're going to do. But what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to plant seedlings on my back porch. Now, one of them I planted on the inside and it's been growing and it's about this high. So I should have a big full plant. That's what I want. I'm some book with lots of stuff. I want to be able to give away some of my stuff. And last year I gave away tomatoes and stuff like that. And I had watermelons, but I was afraid to open the watermelon because I thought it wasn't big enough. And then when I finally opened the last one, it was so sweet. I was so angry with myself. Okay. But it's like I said, it's all good, y'all. Like I said, it's a learning experience. That's all I can say. It's a learning experience. What are some of the learning experiences you have had in doing your garden? Think about that and write it in the comments section. And when I come back from this commercial, we'll discuss it.
Join the She Trucking Foundation today and be a part of a supportive community of women in the trucking industry. Unlock exclusive access to valuable resources, including mentorship, educational workshops, and networking opportunities. Whether you're an experienced professional or just starting your trucking journey, She Trucking is here to empower you and help you thrive. Visit www.shetrucking.com to join us and drive your trucking career to new heights.
Okay, we are back. And if you're just joining me, we are talking about gardening tips because this is the gardening season. And we all want to have successful gardens if we are planning to have a garden. So these are some of the things that you might happen to confront or, while you're doing the garden. But hopefully this will help you in preparing your garden. Now, once I talk about these garden tips, I do have an extra little thing because not everyone has a garden in the yard. And so I thought I should also explain how to have a successful garden, container garden, because I do both. I have flowers in the ground, but I also have flowers and things in pots. And so you want to be successful in anything that you do. But there are some people that don't have a yard or something like that. They have a patio or a balcony or, something like that. And so therefore, but they want to have a garden and they can have a garden. Okay. So after I get through with talking about the regular garden tips, I'm going to expound a little bit on how you can have a garden with containers. And basically we all have gardens with containers because we have house plants. Some of those house plants we put outside but that's a garden in a container. Okay. Just want to let you know, but you can do other things in containers and you'll see that in a few. So you want to think about the pest and disease management. So you want to monitor your garden regularly for signs of pests or diseases. Employ integrated pest management techniques such as beneficial insect attractions and natural pest predators to minimize the use of chemical pesticides. We have a comment here. Now, when I left, I asked, what would you have? planting more marigolds and cutting basil tops, and it grows as a bush. It does, because I grow mine in that little container in the kitchen, and I'm telling you, it takes over. It really does. Now, I have problems with marigolds, even though I love marigolds. And later on in the presentation, marigolds are good. I'm telling you this now, in case you get off. But marigolds are good to be planted near tomatoes, and I did not know that, because the marigolds keep away certain insects that are attracted to tomatoes. So this is what I'm saying. When you do your research, you find out all these things. You don't know these things. You just trial and error. You just out there doing the garden with your, like my family used to have a garden down south. I grew up with a garden. We had a flower garden, a plant, a vegetable garden, and we didn't have a herb garden. It was one other garden, a flower garden, a vegetable garden, and I guess fruit, because we had water, things like that, watermelon, stuff like that. So we had all those things. And even though they were planting those things, I wasn't paying attention. I was little. I wasn't really paying attention to what they were doing. But I just know that I loved it. And as I grew older and got my own place, that was one of the things that I kind of wanted to continue. So let's talk about companion plant planting. That's when you take advantage of a companion planting strategy to enhance plant growth and deter pests. For example, what I just told you, planting marigolds near tomatoes can help repel certain insects. And then you want to do continuous learning, okay, which what I said is ongoing, y'all. So garden is an ongoing learning process. Stay curious, experiment with different techniques, and learn from both successes and failures in your garden. All right, so we're going to move on, because I do want to kind of talk about, make sure I'm on task here. I do want to kind of talk about container gardens. Now, the container gardens are very much similar to the ground gardens in certain way, in certain instances. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is you want to choose the right container. Pots with drainage, holes to prevent waterlogging. Ensure they are large enough to accommodate the mature size of the plant you intend to grow. So it needs to be a planter that is large enough so that when the plant grows, you don't have to be repotting it. And so if you look up here, these are certain things. This is a vegetable garden here. I don't know if you all can see that, but there's some lettuce and some cabbage and some lettuce and something else. But this is so cute how they did this. And then this is one, a container garden that is on the front porch. And there is a house in Harvey, Illinois, that I pass by, and they grow greens in their front in pots. I mean, actual pots. And it looks like it's their flowers, but it's actually collard greens, y'all. So you can just be so creative with your planting. As planting, I have seen people plant um, plants in boots. They have decorative things in their garden. So, just be creative. I haven't gotten that way. I have bought things to go in my garden, and they're still in the garage ready to be fixed. So let's hope and pray for me, okay? So you want to use quality potting soil. Use a well-draining potting mix tailored for container gardening. And you want to avoid using garden soil, as it may impact or compact in containers and hinder root growth. Now, I do use garden soil, but I don't use the garden soil to plant my container gardens. I use potting soil for that. And you still have to be careful with that because there are so many different types of potting soils out there. Okay. But I do use the gardening soil for it out in the yard when I'm doing, the gardening in the yard. I will use that. And I want to let you know also that gardening is expensive. It's expensive. And so, you want to kind of weigh your time out or, how you want to spend your money and all things. So you have to plan all that as well. So you want to provide adequate drainage. So you want to place a layer of gravel or broken pottery shards at the bottom of the pot to enhance drainage. This prevents the water from pooling at the roots of your plants. Now, I've been wondering why my plants would have problems at the bottom, at the roots. I didn't put stones in it. So, like I said, I learn each year. And you never get too old to learn something. But each year, I do learn a few things. So we're gonna stop again, y'all. I'm sorry. I gotta stop again for a commercial. And then we will be right back to continue the container gardens. All right, we are back. And those are the wigs that the Soul Lady Wigs is one of my sponsors for my program. And so they provide me. This is one of them. And I had a contest. I want to tell you all this too before I go on. But I had a contest that sent me two. And I said A or B. And most of my friends and clients and stuff like that, they chose B. So this is the B wig that I'm wearing from Soul Lady. So if you get a chance, click on that link and go and check it out. Okay. So let's move on. So what you want to do is select appropriate plants. So there are certain plants that are well suited to container gardens, such as herbs, vegetables, annual flowers, and dwarf varieties of trees and shrubs. So you want to make sure that you select the right kind of plant to go into a container. And here up here at the top, you'll see that this picture here also displays a different type of containers that you can use for your gardening uh, container gardens. And then you want to also consider the sunlight requirements. Place your pots in locations that receive the right amount of sunlight for the plants that you're growing. And some plants prefer full sun, while others prefer partial shade. They want some sun and then some shade. So you need to know that as well when you are planting. It usually lets you know on the packaging that you get with the things, or when you buy the plants, they have that little spike that's sitting in there, and it gives you the instructions on how to fertilize it, and all of those things is in there. Okay. And you also want to water it regularly. Now, the only difference in this and watering the flowers that are in your yard is that container plants may require more frequent watering than those in the ground, as they can dry out more quickly. So you want to check the soil moisture regularly and water when the top of the soil feels dry to the touch. Okay. Now, a little old lady told me that she gave me a flower and told me this. You don't have to water this. You just put your finger here. And I swear the plant is still living, y'all. But it might need repotting. Maybe that's it. But now I used to have 4 or 5 little branches, and now I only have one. So when I get ready to do my planting for my garden, I'm also going to be doing repotting of some of my plants that are in the house. So it is a job. Okay, it is a job, but it's one of my jobs that I just constantly I do love. Okay. And so this is another one. This is fertilizer as needed. Look at the garden here. And I'm not sure, but I believe these are old tubs that someone has used out in the yard, and they have made a garden out of them. So you could also use that as well. And you know what else? Uh Something else. I'm going to tell you some other things that you can use for garden. This lady, people have ponds in their garden. It's just all kind of things you can do in your garden. Okay, let me finish. Certain pots may deplete nutrients more rapidly than those in the ground. So you want to use a balanced fertilizer or slow release fertilizer according to the needs of your plants. And so usually it will tell you how often to fertilize, but you can also go to the store and buy different types of fertilizer. So you heard me say on certain of those, I believe that the blood meal and the fish fertilizer are what you call balanced fertilizers, and the slow releases like that spike I told you in my house plants. I stick that down, and as you water, it releases the nutrients into the soil. So the other thing that you want to do is you want to rotate your pots, and you rotate them to promote growth, and you want even growth. You don't want plants leaning toward the light, or light over here, and you see that. So if you see your plant is leaning over, you need to rotate it. Okay, that means that side is getting more light than the other side. So you just want to just twist the pot around, and then that just all it does is it just ensures that all sides receive adequate sunlight. Okay. And then another thing that you want to do is you want to protect your plants from extreme temperature. So in the summer, it is extremely hot in some days. So during the hot weathers, you want to provide shade, or you might want to move your pots to cooler locations to prevent heat stress. In the colder months, however, you want to protect your pots from frost by bringing them indoors or insulating them with mulch or bubble wrap. And a lot of times, I did this, I think, last year on gardening tips, and I talked about those people who had the big pots, those big pots, and they're hard to bring in. And so what you do is you would take everything out and fill it with bubble wrap. That's why they're saying bubble wrap. And that would keep that pot from cracking during the winter months. You can leave it out as well. All right, so we're going to take one last commercial, and then I am going to come back. I got another comment here. This is Latricia. She is saying hello, and we're going to say hello to her and thank you for coming on. But we're going to do one more commercial, and then I'm going to come back. And I guess I am going to try to summarize this up, what I covered this evening on the tips on gardening for not only ground gardens, but for container gardens too, because people do use container gardens as well. So just remember with your container gardens that you can create a thriving container garden even in limited space. I want you to be aware that whether it's on a balcony, a patio, or even a windowsill. Okay, so I want you to you know, think about that. Okay, we're gonna take that last commercial, come back and tell you thank you, and summarize.
Oh my goodness, the mailman came. I hope my sweet little thing cookie's in here. I just hope it's in here. Let me see. Let me open this up. That's it. That's it. Sweet little thing cookie. That sweet little thing cookie. Oh, I'ma have me a ball now. Let me just get this right here. Little thing cookie. That sweet little thing cookie. Oh yeah. I finally got my cookies. This sweet little thing cookies. Oh yeah. I'ma have fun. This package kinda big though. Man, it got a lot of cookies. Oh yeah, this the best day ever. I'm trying to tell you, I got my cookies, and I'm gonna eat these cookies, and ain't nobody gonna stop me. Wait, what?
Marie, what you doing, man? You can't have those cookies right now. I'm sorry, we about to eat dinner. Once we finish dinner, then you can have those cookies. Go ahead, put them up. Go ahead, put them up.
Are you serious, bruh? I got sweet Lestain cookies, and now I gotta wait for dinner? Fine, can I at least look at the cookies? Thank you. Oh my goodness, I have waited all this time now. I gotta do all this. Fine. Oh yeah. I got my hands on some sweet Lestain cookies. But I can't eat them right now because bruh talking about I gotta wait to dinner. Okay, I'ma do that. But once I finish that, it's gonna be on, y'all.
I say thank you to everyone who came and listened to me and your comments. I greatly appreciate it. But before I close, I want you to remember to always consider your climate, okay, and your growing zone. So sometimes when you are planning things, it'll say on the thing, it'll say zone 1, 2, 3, 4. And so you can look in the almanac or a planter's almanac and look at those zones. And sometimes on the back of the seed packages, it'll have those zones on it. So you need to you got to consider those things because that's basically telling you about the weather and the conditions of planting it to some extent. Um, it helps you in what works well in one area as opposed to what doesn't work, what is not suitable for that area. So don't forget to research your plants. A good idea is to join a garden club. When I retired, I joined a garden club, and they have different people that come in and speak on different things. In fact, our garden club is meeting next week, and the person that is coming is a master gardener. They're out here, you all, and they're willing to help you. And he is going to talk about the bugs that invade your garden. Okay, so garden is just not about planting; it's about the animals that invade it and all. And believe me, it's just not the insects because you have problems with the squirrels, the rabbits, the cats, all of it. So these are all different things that you kind of need to know. But the most important thing is that you just want to have fun in gardening. Gardening is a fun thing. It should not be stressful. It should be stress-free, and it should be relieving you of those stresses, as well. So with that being said, I still want to extend a thank you to everyone who has attended this. And I do want to remind you, excuse me, in some kind of way, I hope that this episode has inspired you. I hope that it has encouraged you. And most of all, I hope that it has empowered you to maybe look closer into gardening, which is a very relaxing hobby. It's a hobby. Some people, I mean, if you want to make it your main thing, you can, but it is a hobby for me. So I am going to leave you with my 3 L's that I normally end all of my programs with, is that you want to live your life to the fullest. Make sure you do those things that are making you happy and just give you content. And gardening is one of those things for me. The second thing is that you want to laugh. Make sure you laugh. Laughter is so important to you, and it really heals your soul. And then the third thing is to love. Love yourself, honey. You want to love yourself, because I'm not really a fan of RuPaul, but I just love that saying that he says, if you don't love yourself, then nobody will. And that's true. That's very true. So as I leave you, I have some acknowledgments and things that I'm going to do before I leave. But as I leave you, I want you to think about the act of kindness that you're going to do this week. Have a blessed one. And thank you again for watching. Sweet blessings. Bye-bye.